This book and this moment are urging you to pause. The book that changed my life. Are you ready to start your new life? Are you ready to awaken to the purpose and the passion that's been waiting inside of you all along? Check out endevil.life. Evil is the destruction of freedom. I got the book, The End of All Evil. I got plenty of copies. So if you click on this link, either this book here or this link, it will take you to a payment page. You get the book, and I send you some End Evil podcast stickers. My book is out. And so you can right now click on this link, order that copy that I'll sign for you. And I will also send you some stickers. Or you can get both. And this is a limited time deal that I've got on my website right now. You can order my book, the author's copy signed, and you can get The End of All Evil for $45 for both. And that link is right here on the End Evil store. Don't do that. Welcome, friends. Evil is the destruction of freedom. And I'm pretty excited about tonight's episode. There's a lot of things happening in the world. Most of them are negative and bad and terrible things, but there's some good things happening too. And the awesomest one is that coming right up is an event called SoundPath To Freedom. People check out soundpath.org. And I tonight have the honor of speaking with the guests, the organizers and administrative team that has been working on bringing this event to us. And this is coming up Labor Day, and I'm going to bring these guys on and start asking some questions and find out all about this awesome event that's coming up. Thanks, SoundPath to Freedom organizers, for joining me today. Appreciate it.
Ooh. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. You want to start off and just tell people a little bit about what's happening, since you know it all and it's all so fresh in your mind, and you've been doing such a great job.
Well, it's been a team effort for sure. As of today, we now have a whole 8-hour set going for 8 headliners. So before it was 5 to 11 p.m. Now it's 3 to 11 p.m. As of today at Arnold's for our in-person ticketed event. We will be increasing ticket prices starting tomorrow evening because we added Presence, Apotheosis, Tatiana Moros, great country singer. She has a bunch of albums. Presence and 33, aka Derek Rose, have done songs together, so they're going to be closing out the night. And Conrad, who's here, who's been on our organizing team, can talk more about his album called SoundPath that he's doing. So we have a really great lineup, and this wouldn't be possible without, and we don't even have our whole team here. Some of our teams in the chat, some of our teams here. So I'll let maybe Meg, you want to take it away or share other things? Maybe talk about the raffle or something, or whatever.
Yeah, sure. Well, I know tomorrow we're going to be increasing the prices of the concert because, hold on, sorry guys, I got a little background noise here.
It's all good.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So I guess I could talk about the raffle. We're giving away free raffle ticket to see the Shadowwork seminar for Mark Passio, because on Monday, August 18th, I will be interviewing him. He's a huge supporter of SoundPath, and so that's going to be happening this Monday at 2, and we'll announce the raffle ticket winners because this is a cross-promotional effort. You know, the One Great Work is not just, one person's job. We're all teaming up for this. So,
yeah. Well, let's rewind a little bit, and hopefully most of our audience knows all about natural law and I've studied up on freedom and done, Mark Passio, whatonearthishappening.com episodes. But if not, and folks are just checking this out, and maybe their first time on endevil.life, and maybe they never heard of SoundPath to Freedom, Maybe you could describe what inspired the creation of the SoundPath to Freedom to start with.
Wait, yeah, hold on. Can we even describe what exactly this SoundPath to Freedom Music Festival is about?
What is it?
That's a good
Hey,
point.
because we got upwards to 30 different guests, artists, mostly musicians, and some presenters, a couple of surprise cameos, especially at the live event at Arnold's in Pennsylvania. But yeah, we have over 25 musical artists or groups of artists, musicians that are going to be submitting their music, whether it be live streamed or in person at the concert that we're talking about, which involves raffle stuff and the tickets and all that stuff, to actually go to a live event that is going to be phenomenal and one of a kind for this type of networking and all these things that are inclusive, and the cross pollination is really something. And segueing into your question, Jerry, I'm gonna pass it off to you because you were the one that spearheaded this, especially after checking out the Freedom Under Natural Law conference, and we're just sparked with that inspiration, which was the desired effect of that conference. So I was just so happy to hear your enthusiasm about that and stuff. And so when you hit me up, I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do this shit, So it was good.
Yeah, so I just really enjoyed the Funnel 4 conference. All the funnels, of course, and we're all kind of, you know, carrying the torch. Before funnel there was seed, before that was free your mind. We're all kind of inspiring each other, and in particular, your presentation, Derek Conrad's presentation, Leslie Powers, who's in the chat. You guys all touched on music. There was amazing music during the conference, and I was just like, wow, we should do like a music festival. And what became like a chat originally for just like natural law musicians to kind of maybe form a band, it just got way bigger than that. And then so many people have helped us along the way. JoshuaHale.io. Joshua Hale's been amazing, giving us, marketing advice for free. Manny Zay from Meditation More podcast has been also helpful and in the background. We have in the chat Nathan Webb. He's been helping us with like video editing. My partner St. John's been helping with, tech stuff and flyers. Meg's been working on flyers and stuff and visuals. And so this is totally a group effort. Derek, you've been doing amazing, beautiful title cards and watch party hosting. And yeah, maybe I'll pass it to someone else because I don't like to talk too much.
Yes.
Conrad, because we haven't heard from
pass
you,
it
brother.
to me, because my cherry on top is that I'm looking right here on my bookshelf, and I got a documentary called Mark Passio and the Science of Natural Law. And bouncing off of the Funnel Conference, which was all about natural law. Now, natural law is a science, but it's also an art. There's a whole second half to this. And this is what SoundPath is all about, is that all of us know these principles that are required to be put into practice so we could have a state of freedom in the world. We all know that. We know that there's a science behind it. We know how to do it. But at the same time, it's also an art. And those two forces have to be working off of each other. They have to be complementary. So now this is the first festival of its kind that is really specifically a natural law festival. So this is the first. And it is our goal is that art side of it is going to catch up, because we need the science of natural law needs some help. We need the art and the science together.
That's beautiful, and that's part of like what Will and I have talked about with this idea of a renaissance. What does a renaissance look like, sound like, feel like? And it's interesting too. I did a podcast today, and I was asked this question, and people often do this when you say, government is evil, because it's slavery, because it's coercion. People will be like, but there's no way to manage all these people without government. We need it, and this person said that, and it's like, when we're getting this struggle with people and trying to explain how anarchy and sovereignty work, a lot of times people believe it because they don't think people can self-organize. And in a way, I've always been out to prove that. I'm like, I've seen teams work together. I know people can come together of their free will and do things positive because I've been part of things like that. And that was part of my initiation and trying to get the One Great Work Warrior started, which is a huge success. And then being part of this people, this natural law group, and we all put our heads together, and that's what propelled Funnel, which for me, I was really inspired by Brandon Martin Seed, working with Nate Cap and Douglas Martin and those guys. And I wanted to be like part of what they were doing. I was just wishing like somehow I can get in there, and thought, I know, well, if they can do it, I can do it, and I brought it to the group and everybody was like, yeah, we could do that. And Will had all these amazing talents. And so now seeing you guys doing this, it just propels it forward and it kind of puts it out to everyone like, look it, we did it, they did it, you guys can do it too. Teamwork is possible. Maybe we don't need government.
Yeah, Brandon Martin in particular has been so supportive of what we've been doing. We did an interview, Nathan and I, just because of the timing. I think those were the only folks from our organizing team that were able to make it that day. But yeah, he's been a huge supporter. Obviously, Mark Passio has been a huge supporter. So you guys, obviously, with Funnel, have been a huge supporter. So we're all supporting each other in this. And yeah, our team. Sometimes the one great work, it's fun, it's music, but it's also like, as a musician, like I was like, oh, it's gonna be so fun to like form a band, and then like now I'm finding myself like looking at spreadsheets and like negotiating deals, and it's like, okay, well, sometimes you gotta be in like in your left brain sometimes, but anyway, yeah.
Okay, here's a question: What's the core mission of SoundPath? Do you guys have a kind of a sentence or two that sums it all up?
Yeah, well, I think we all have been sort of reflecting on our why we're doing this. And I guess I could start. I think for me, I really care, and I think all of us do, about the human condition and changing it. And so, entering the truth and freedom space and seeing how there's been people, like Mark Passio, like Jay Parker, for example, Cat Waters, that have been saying the same thing for 20 years. Let's put music to this. Let's, um, use the followings of these different artists of different genres and have their audiences cross pollinate, have someone who listens to country music by Tatiana Moros check out Conrad's podcast, and just really like this is like the networking event for natural law. Does anyone else want to go?
We all do, yeah. Meg, please, we haven't heard from you in a minute, so.
I know. So I had a story to mine. I don't know how long we want to go with this. So my why is, it goes a little further back. It has to do with my journey. It started a couple years ago. I took a class, masterminds class with Tony Robbins. And part of this class, we tried to find out what our why was, our purpose in life, like what inspires us to do any of this work. And we did this 7 levels deep. And I didn't realize, like, I could say, yeah, I want to do it for this reason. But when you start from 1 and you go level to level and you just keep asking yourself, well, why this? Well, why that? Well, why that? You get to the heart of your why. And my why was ending human suffering. So I didn't know what that looked like a few years ago. I didn't realize it, but that's what I came with. After that, I kind of went on my journey down the rabbit holes. I came across a group called TLS, and they're an underground organization doing a lot of the behind the scenes cleanup. And I always wanted to join them because I thought, okay, well, this would be a great group to work with to help humanity and, end this, suffering. And I was in a meditation one day and it came to me. I got 2 pieces of pivotal information that was going to transpire in my future. They both came true. And one of them was that I was going to work with an organization that was just like TLS, but it wasn't going to be TLS. And 2 months later, that happened, and I met an organization just like them. I worked with them for 2 years, and they let me on the inside of what they're doing. And yes, the truth is very hard when you realize what's really going on and you're talking to people who are directly involved with it. And I just felt so bad that, like, you know, I'm just this little civilian, like, what can I do? And somebody that I call my mentor, he laughed at me. He said, well, if you can find a way to end human suffering, let me know, or slavery, human thought, and the condition that we're in. So I put that out into the universe. And then before I knew it, a friend of mine introduced me to Jay Parker. From Jay Parker, I found Mark Passio, and I was so excited to find this information. I was like, this is it. This is our key right here. So from then I started doing my own work with him. And it was just last year, this class came up with how to become the true media. Didn't think I'd have an interest in this at all. But seeing his videos, he really kicked my ass and said, okay, this is what your next step is here. And I didn't know how I was going to pay for the class. I didn't have the money for the class. 2 weeks before it happened, my boss came in and gave me a bonus for my efforts on stuff I was working on, paid exactly the amount for the class. So I took that. And my higher self told me it's not about taking the class, it's about who you're going to meet in the class and to go from there. And that's when I met Jerry, and we just hit it off instantly. It's like my soul sister right here, and just really got me into everything. And I wanted to be a part of this with her because I know her heart, where she's at. And then it just kind of exploded from there. So meeting everybody, just finding that group of people who really give a shit and, you know, want to make a difference. And what better way than through music? If people won't listen to us on, you know, podcasts or in person, it's like we can do it through music. So that's my story. That's my why.
I love that story, the synchronicity element, especially. I've had a lot of synchronicities, and they always feel like this inner confirmation that no one else can really prove, but it's an inner confirmation, I guess, of sorts. You know, pat on the back to what one might have been already thinking. It's beautiful. Conrad, do you want to say anything more on that topic, like the core of what drives you in this type of thing?
Absolutely. So I don't want to overcomplicate things because I got a lot to say now. I guess starting with, I also had these synchronicities when around SoundPath, because I didn't even know when it was going to be, but that August 30th and 31st, that is like a date where I had an experience not that long ago that was very special and like transformative for me. So when it happened, I'm like, I bet this is gonna, I just feel it working out, and things work out along the way that even made this possible. So like Meg, I have a similar experience. Now for me to, so I run into like a conflict here because there's a personal why that's like specific to me, but I also wanted to address like our goal as a group. But part of this is why it is SoundPath, because this is not just objective, it's subjective as well. So I almost don't want to answer for the entire organization what our goal is, but I could say this, you know, we all care about ending human suffering and advancing this state of freedom that we want to build. On a different level, I'll say that I think a goal of SoundPath is to put an imprint behind some of these. We all have our show, we all do our things, we all try to make a difference. But by doing it musically, we want to make like an imprint, like a stamp, like a lasting memory in a way that just talking doesn't do, because there's so much going on, because everybody is so busy. Things can get lost. Like there's a world that's oversaturated with information, and we can forget even the most profound things. But sometimes there's like a memory associated with a taste, with a sound, and specifically the sound. We want to send that kind of an experience that's going to resonate with people. So this is why I think a goal of a music festival, which is really a different method than we've tried to do it before. Now, from there to my personal why, I don't want to. So I have the same reasons. Like, of course, I'm a musician, so I wanted this to happen. But I want to say this, because even though it's a little bit maybe a little bit strange or controversial. So ego is a big problem in the world, right? Ego is a problem, but because people, because of ego, they feel like they have to do things. They feel like they have to do things because they're dug in and they have to protect their ego. But on the other hand of it, on the other side, there isn't, like, we don't have to call it ego, but to make principles and values like your ego. And that's what I've done, because I stood behind music and I stood behind, this who I said I was. I'm going to be this live and direct guy who makes conscious music. So now, even if I had stuff going on in my life, even if I didn't want to be part of SoundPath, which I do, but I almost don't have a choice. I'm going to do it because this is who I am. This is me. So the message there that I want to send is that freedom is not just the freedom from action or just being free from obligations, but freedom through choosing the difficult thing, even if you didn't feel like doing it. Because all of us as organizers have struggled with things. It's gotten tough for us, especially you guys, because you guys have been more heavily involved than I have. I've been working on music and work and all this stuff, so I haven't had as much of the load to carry. But we've all gone through things. So as far as the why, I just want to say that there's such a value to stand on your principles, say what you're going to be, and then when tough times come, you're gonna have to do it. It's like it's like being a parent, right? You don't have to just say you can't say I'm tired. you're going to have to be there. So I think that's a very valuable thing, and in the end, we're all going to be happy that we pushed through.
Thanks, Conrad. Man, you said so many things that got me thinking. Like when you were talking about how you forget things, even things that are crucial. It reminds me of like standing up straight, posture. It's so important, but like I'll totally forget about it for the longest time. And I'll be like, oh yeah, posture. I always feel better when I stand up straight. Man, gosh, it's better. And music's kind of like one of those things like that. That just, it's like a reminder, like, oh yeah, that is a feeling that needs to be felt or whatever, And I think when we do our self work, that shadow work that Mark Passio's seminar is going to be all about, it does kind of bring us to a point, if we push far enough, where we learn what we are. And then you're in that phase you're describing, Conrad, that I like to call commitment. Once you've made the commitment, it's not a question anymore. Am I going to take care of my kids? Am I going to be part of the SoundPath to Freedom? It's like, I'm in this. That's what I am. So I'll throw it to you, Derek. I know you got some thoughts for us.
Thanks, brother. And thanks everyone for what y'all said. Goals or mission statements. We had on our website initially, SoundPath to Freedom, because freedom needs a soundtrack as well, right? And that's kind of, it's a synchronicious year for me, just in so many ways. From the funnel and then with this stemming off and me wanting to do a lot of things for years, including like interviewing artists and things like that, stemming off of, people that I've featured in my music mixes. I have over 130 truth-infused music mixes that I've been concocting since 2012. And to be here, it's just so honorable, elating, full of gratitude and love about this. And I feel like, I'm like at a place where I'm adequate enough to help host this event. Thanks to my brother, man, Chris Jansen, who's got that One Great Work Warriors, who that he's established, and us, getting together, 6 guys, Brandon Spencer, the tech wizard as well, of course, Crib Rick, I see you, brother. And yeah, music speaks to the soul. That's why this is so important, this specific art and everything. But just being able to level up in so many ways on, streaming and video producing and networking and so many things. It's just built up to a level where it's like, wow, like I don't feel like I'm like a seasoned vet at all. I'm still a beginner at this, but I see some of the people in the SoundPath group, looking up to me, and it's like, oh shit, I gotta uh, even step my game up and like make sure that folks entrust in me and that I'm doing the right thing and making holding myself accountable to that. And I like that challenge, and I totally appreciate everyone's respects towards me and what I'm able to do and stuff. And of course, I'm not perfect. I'm not some kind of fucking professional, whatever the fuck. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, of course, but I've been in this to win this for over a dozen years, brothers and sisters. And it's just great to just be involved in so many different things and networking and collaborating and cooperating with so many different people. It's great. And to have this thing be about music, like kind of my bread and butter, I guess, even though I'm not a proper musician myself, like I can't like read music, like the notes and all that stuff. And I feel like I kind of didn't want to learn that on purpose uh growing up or whatever, even though I took like music in elementary school, like the trumpet. It was fun. Totally remember playing the Jurassic Park theme song, like the original one, that when it was actually a good movie. But anyways, so music permeates so much within the morphogenic field of creation, sound, song, frequency, energy, vibration. All these things tie in. So how are we as instruments of the highest of highs, especially when we're connected to our higher self and connected to source and all, which is, that's kind of like a redundancy right there, but you get where I'm going at with this. So what we're trying to do with those that have really awakened and ignited or activated things within themselves that have just, they have that courage, conviction, and art of persuasion tied into their art, their music, and even Chris, you and I were just like jamming around, riffing around. Sometimes you and I have been meeting up a little bit in California, and yeah, it's just been such a pleasure. And you sharing your music with me, with you're putting on the Ritz, with your really cool group with Jeremiah with the Scritch. And fuck, man. And just music, it's kind of like comedy as well. It can dissolve these barriers, and it can bypass certain mental and emotional blockages that people have when they're just like so ensconced in the ignorance and lies and deception, where when it's like, yeah, we're listening to music, but those lyrics are coming through and like bam bam bam, some of that all killer no filler type of shit. And that can like really change people when they're not going to be listening to any kind of fucking podcast on what on earth is happening, or the One Gregory Network, or any podcast, because they got their routines and this and that, and their fucking algorithmic filters and habits and whatever. So yeah, just find that music can reach the lowest common denominator. It is that universal language, as I mentioned before. And so yeah, that's all for now. Thank you.
No, good riffing. Always appreciate it, Derek. What were you gonna say, Jerry?
Oh, I was just gonna say that was awesome, dude. Like, and yeah, I definitely look up to you and everyone at Funnel for inspiring SoundPath to happen. Honestly, that's how it happened. And I want to give a brief shout out again to my partner St. John, who's literally working on technical stuff right now. He's too busy to join this interview, and he's more like I think he prefers kind of being in the background for this, but I think there's always going to be certain people that are more front facing and background facing, but everyone's doing work, everyone. So
Well, on that topic, Jerry, like one of my further questions down the road was going to be, what kind of things people that are listening, what can they do to make this happen to help along? You know.
Yeah, so again, like this, this is an opportunity for people who complain about how there's no freedom movement, no natural law movement, to be part of the movement. We're meeting in person and online. There's no excuses. Like, join us, like and subscribe, share our flyers, maybe make a flyer of your own, print it, put it in around. And Sarah Cross, just took it
Go to
upon
coffee
herself.
shops, libraries.
She just like Chris Callahan too. Like, people are just taking the initiative, and that's what this really is. This is like, self responsibility, self ownership. Like, if you want to see a certain change happen, you have to manifest it yourself. And I think we all, as organizers, understand this. And for anyone listening, if you have an understanding of that, all it takes is the next right thing to do. Does anyone want to add to that?
We're getting creative with our tools in a time where the tools used against us are getting advanced as well. So, you got to get slick with it. We got to get slick with it. Why wouldn't I condense my rants into a song and send it that way? And if it gets any traction, I'll go on the battle rap circuit over on Madison somewhere in Chicago, and I'll do it. I'll go to start training boxing somewhere and talk with those guys over there, and then land it in between getting hit with uppercuts. So it can seem bleak if we just reflect on everything being done to us, but we can get real creative about what we're doing to counter it. And I'm very grateful for SoundPath, because this is right in my wheelhouse as well. I can't get a show out here, and now I'm co-headlining this whole thing. That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, it got me to reflecting a little bit on the relationship between truth and music. And what's interesting is I'm thinking back, and there always have been significant changes in the music of the culture, that are indicative of changes happening in the mentality and spirituality of people too. And so perhaps music, like I like that, Rick said in the Crypt Rick said in the chat about being a bridge, you know. And I also think about the left brain and the right brain. A lot of times when I try to talk to people that are very left brained, we get to a butting heads point where, there's this like, you're not seeing my logic, and then the other folks that are super right brain, like, I'm just not feeling that. I don't feel how that would work. I don't believe it. It's like, well, it's not a belief thing, it's a principle thing. So I'd be curious, your guys' thoughts on the connection between truth and music or art.
Yeah. Music has been one of those things, especially I'm thinking about hip hop, that's kind of like, for me, it's just born in '83. It's the voice of my generation. Maybe it's just my subjective take on it, but there's a lot of other genres that were big and influential, even, when I was growing up, like alternative rock and whatever. But hip hop just spoke to me in a different level. And just the conviction behind so many of the lyrics and stuff, and the encrypted messages in there, those were on purpose to let people know what the fuck is going on the under, to bypass censorship and oppression and whatever the fuck, right? So that was something that got me keyed into, like, yeah, like just like these songs of freedom. And you think about Bob Marley as well, just that one classic line that billions of people have fucking heard, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Take it back and come rewind and play it again and again until you fucking get it and integrate that shit. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, music can come off so beautifully, and it just, floats over people's heads and whatever. It could be the most simple shit, and people just think of it as some kind of lyrical word salad, and like, yeah, that sounds nice, good vibrations, yeah, reggae and all this stuff. But apply that shit to your fucking life, god damn it, what the fuck? And so that's why I'm more into hip-hop, because that shit just like fucking sticks it right to you. And that's not to say there's not reggae that does that as well, because there is. But that's just that side of, that raw lyrical intensity and immensity with that density that's breaking the dense fucking calcified brain tumors in people's, programmed fucking minds and whatever the fuck. So yeah, shatter that shit, shatter the fucking illusion, like James Cordner and Joe Murray. What's up with that cat? That did their own online conference. Big ups to them. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, Derek. I'm not gonna try to match your cold lyrics because I'm not, I'm gonna let that sit on its own. But here's what I was thinking about the relationship between truth and music. Well, music is different than other art forms because it combines actual direct language with motion. It's specifically set in time, so it has a density to it. It has a physicality to it, and this is why we say it's moving. This is why the bass even is booming. The waves reverberate. They move longitudinally. They're not just like a light wave. It's a little bit different. Now, this is about bridging light and sound. Music specifically it's just the way it's similar to truth is that it's all encompassing. It's not just limited to an area. It's everywhere at once, and that's how music is when it comes to the way we perceive it. Because it's not just in the ears, because you could, you don't have to move your vocal cords, but you can think of a sound and it's there. So it just more so than a sculpture or a painting or something like that, because it is an actual, all music is a record of an event, an explosion that's happening. Every note that is played is something that actually happens. So music, like a song, is a record of things that actually occurred. And that's what truth is. It's not only the objective record of things that happen, but also truth as in the vibrations of everything that is existing at once. So that's what a song is. That is the universe, right? The one song. And I love all kinds of art, but music is just the one that is so deep and intimate, because it's all of these different faculties combined. I think it is the most advanced art form we have as of now. I'm not saying that it's going to end there, but at this point in our evolution, I think you can convey an entire book in a single song or a sound. It has the ability to do that. It's not to say we shouldn't use all those other things, but this is like a cheat code of life, like of communication. And it's really and okay, going back to also what Derek said, I'll finish it off with this, is that you can even be enslaved and literally carrying the chains on your back. No one can stop you from humming down, even if you're literally a slave. You can have your arms tied. Nothing's gonna stop you from humming, from singing. And Jerry, you and I talked about this not long ago. Even going back to slave music or music from the streets like hip hop, or music from the slums of Kingston and Jamaica. Music has time and time again originated from the grassroots, from the streets. It's coming back around. We're doing it again.
Yeah, I had an old blues album, and it was like going back to roots, and it was guys working. They were like, pick a bale of cotton, pick a bale of hay, pick a bale of cotton, pick a bale of hay. And you could just imagine, you're out there busting your ass in the heat, someone's trying to whip you or whatever, and what else you got? The love of song, the love of sound, which is an appreciation of a principle that exists in its pure form, in reality, and we can get a hold of it. And the other thing that's popping off in my head is the fact that, like, words are magic. Words are magic. People get all screwed up with the concept of magic because of Disney movies and stuff, making it to be something silly, but it really does that. When you think about words, we put them together in different combinations and we can convey all these complex ideas. And then you take symbols, and you put them together, and maybe even sigils, and you got words and symbols all mixed up together, and now you can convey volumes. And when we can affect people emotionally, that's how hypnotism's done, that's how marketing's done, that's how advertising's done. Information comes into the brain through often the emotional centers. I think that's more common than anything else from what I've seen. But yeah, Jerry, do you have anything else to say on that?
So many amazing ideas on this topic in the chat as well as from you all on this panel. So yeah, definitely resonating with everything that's being said. I'm finding just checking in with my heart more so than, my thoughts. And I'm thinking about how much healing needs to be done and how music is a salve when we're in tyrannical times, and how this sort of goes with this whole idea of like slave, music, and how, what are the two currencies, time and attention? Well, if your time and attention are being spent doing things that you're coerced into doing, or while you're being stolen from, you know, the relationship that you have with time changes with music, and you can literally sort of it's almost like time traveling. Like it just moves faster. It makes it heals. And I don't have the proper vocabulary, but I just know and feel that, and maybe I'm just more right brained. It's possible, but which
Well,
is
think
why it's been
about
such a struggle as an organizer.
when you hear a sound or you smell a smell, and it like instantly transports you back to another time in your life, and you get the like feeling like you're
Yeah.
there. So that's so real what you're saying.
Yeah, I just feel like
Time
music,
travel.
well, and if okay, fine, I'll go left-brained on it and talk about how are we a wave or a particle? Like, look at all the EMFs and Wi-Fi and signals, frequencies that we're inundated with, and how that, and like, the tyranny of that, of being trespassed like that. And how do we counteract those frequencies with music, with melody, with rap, with art? I just feel like art is the way we can heal ourselves collectively from the suffering that we've spoken about earlier.
I gotta add something real quick because this woman, Kimberly Terieff, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but she mentioned Dr. Leonard Horowitz. And if you guys haven't seen his videos, this guy's kind of old school. I mean, he was putting out videos like anti-quacks, or the VAX, the bullshit, a long time ago. It looks like his videos are like from the 80s and stuff, but it was like early internet YouTube shit, which is dope. But he has put out in more recent times, and I'm talking about even like a decade ago, of just, breaking down, like we are our own sonic liquid crystal sound, song, frequency, vibration, and all these things. Like, that's, paraphrasing what he's saying, but I dig that, and some of my mentors speak volumes of that as well, like on the same lines, just in different words and semantics, whatever. But yes, the Rockefeller bullshit before then, I don't. It's so easy to throw out, like, it's the Rockefeller stuff. It's all them, because with the health stuff or the education and sound for, it's like they had a whole team working underneath them. So but it's just easy to pinpoint that one name, and like they changed the standard tuning from 432 hertz to 440, and so just that slight little tweak, think about adjusting your AM FM radio, just like a little 0.0 decibel, just a couple of things, you get that little static that even your ear doesn't pick up on, but it's still getting into the subconscious, whatever the fuck, right? So those are things to consider. And so that's why I've tuned my music mixes to 432. I haven't done it to 528 hertz, but that's, on that solfeggio frequency wheel with those proper octaves or whatever. There could be something more legit. Who knows? But that's just to say things have been fucked with, and we're trying to bring it back to the original. Even if not all the artists that we're featuring and that we listen to have the 432 implemented, it's just things to consider and all that stuff. But just their vocal cords, what the message that they're saying, that's the important thing to take away, I feel. So,
And
yeah.
also this aspect of there's continually things to be realized, and new things for us to find, and that's exciting. Go ahead, Conrad.
Okay, so it's fascinating what you said, Derek, and I want to add to this. I got a direct drive turntable. I'm so happy about it. I finally got. I can go reverse and everything, and I have the little pitch. I could turning down the pitch just a percentage or two. It can make such a difference, and especially in hip hop, the genre. So much of it was due to old records being slowed down, sped up, and playing with it, and so the reason I bring it up is that our music has been messed with, but if we take back our, like you were just saying, our ability to tune it, make it a little faster, make it a little bit slower here, tune it to the right frequency, or even if you tune it go the other way, right? This is the thing that you can do a lot of different things with music. And with me, as Theo joins us, what's up? So with my stuff, when you hear me, a lot of my music that I've done recently is downright like even abrasive. It's not all pleasant, right? I try a lot of different things, but I think that's part of it. So as long as you're conscious of it, and you can play with the tuning yourself. And I've listened to a lot of music that is like darker, or just gets me hyped up, amped up, and then so we don't need to be cut off from it. Just because they tuned our music to 440 and did the Pythagorean tuning on us, it doesn't mean that it's out of our hands, because at the end of the day, the music is ours. They can try to mess with it, but as long as we know what's going on, we are going to be the ones who originate new techniques like the turntable, totally new tools and technology sets even, and be creative. The creativity comes from us. The system tries to shut us down. We're the ones who can transcend it and create new things.
Theo!
What's up, Theo? Theo's in the house. When you get a chance, brother, we'd like to hear from you. Another one of
Hi
our
guys,
awesome
yeah, good to
organizers.
join. Sorry, I'm a bit late.
It's all good. You're here.
Yeah, that's good. I see also Megan joined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're already.
Hey, Theo. Is that your roosters in the background?
Hey. Oh yeah, they can't stop.
I don't know if people have checked it out, but these organizers have also been doing like a weekly show where everybody brings about 3 tracks, and you guys will just talk about freedom and truth and play your favorite song and take turns. And that's been really enjoyable. So maybe you could tell a little bit people about that and where to find that stuff and that process.
And you was on the last one, brother. So yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't there. What the hell? But
We got confused with the Friday, Saturday, Sundays thing. So yeah, so we got it sorted this week.
How's that been for you, Theo, being part of that? It's been really cool for me seeing you out there on the screen more, nattylaw.com representing, and
SoundPath.org. Yep. He's
and
helping
you're
with
a
SoundPath.
musician too, so you want to tell us about that experience?
Yeah, it's been great. So, big props to Jerry for, first of all, coming up with the festival in the first place. And then I'm not sure who has the original idea for those watch parties, maybe Derek or Jerry, I'm not sure. But either way, it's more like a collective thing between us to kind of make this happen and manifest. And yeah, it's been great especially because, like we were just running off the way of the Europa, the wave, sorry, of the Europa, right? Because unfortunately, that went that got too shallow. The waters of the Europa got too shallow, let's say, and so we had to leave those waters and join a different wave. And yeah, it came perfectly like that. The sound path. So yeah, it felt I think for me and Derek like a perfect transition to go from doing the Europa every week to doing the watch parties every week, and it's been amazing what we have came up with this project. I mean, if the Europa project was good when it was still going on, like this is above and beyond what we've done with the Europa. So yeah, and the potential of this is endless. It's like there's no ceiling to how big this music festival can get. Like some music festivals, they have like thousands and thousands of attendees, and they're known worldwide. And so, like, it's just a matter of time until we get the right artists, the bigger names out there, and who knows how big it can get. So I'm really excited about it.
I sure am too, and I'm going there live, and I'm really excited about that. Originally, I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, and I just decided we're going to find a way. We're going.
Yay!
Got to go to this thing. So I'm really looking forward to that. See a lot of my people that I've communicated with online all these years, and some of my heroes and people I really look up to in life, and in person, and that really matters to me. It's pretty exciting. The other thing, so maybe you guys can talk a little bit about the actual weekend and the events. I meant to play the promo video in the very beginning, and I got it all thing, and I didn't push the button, so I'll play that at the end. But let people know what's happening. It's a whole weekend, right? More than 2 days.
Yeah, so a few months back, not that long, because this whole project was conceived in March. So for us to go from March to execution in August is like crazy. But yeah, so August 29th through September 1st. August 29th, we're still trying to sort of figure out how we're going to structure that, but for sure Saturday, August 30th is going to be our online artists. And then on Sunday, now 3 to 11, it's also going to be live streamed for free, but it's also a ticketed and in-person event. And I just was so excited to talk about it at the top that I didn't properly introduce what SoundPath is. So thank you for setting me straight, because I'm constantly like living and thinking it. So Sunday, August 31st, we have 8 headliners, and I'm gonna pull up the website soundpath.org so I don't forget anybody, because like that would be horrible. So we have obviously Derek Bros 33, aka that's his rapper moniker. Brendan Daniel, who is an amazing singer-songwriter, folk singer, who I met through PorkFest. Conrad Ragos, who's here, as well as going to be, and maybe you want to talk about your album Soundpath that you're going to share with us. Joe Murray, also from the One Great Work Network, is rapping. Lady Maverick, who I met at PorkFest, is also rapping and singing. Tatiana Moros, I mentioned, country singer. Presence is working with 33, and Apophysis. The fun thing about Apophysis is I only heard, well, first of all, I heard of Devin Roger Waldman through Conrad, because I guess you guys both took the how to become the truemedia.com class together. And so I just was checking out his work, and I was like, this guy is like a talented jazz musician. And he was telling me, oh, I got this indie rock, project with my girlfriend who's also a musician. And I'm like, if this dude is making this type of high caliber music with his musician girlfriend, I'm sure their music's going to be good. And as soon as I heard it on the interview, like once the interview ended, I was like, you guys are on, like you guys need to be part of this. So it's a really great, well curated. And if we want to scroll down, thank you for sharing your screen. All our online artists, does anyone want to talk about our online artists? Or maybe we could go by row
Yeah,
or something.
sure. I mean,
go
we
ahead.
got a really eclectic collective of individuals. Vile, Colin Davis, Chris, who you've had on your show 2 years ago. at the latest. And shout outs and rest in peace to Melissa Mary, who's down there. They do some heavy metal rock stuff. So we got all types of genres. Mario West, she's got tons of different styles, and she's played music throughout the decades. All right, Azim, one of my hip hop hometown heroes, as I said in a recent interview I had with him, it was fucking phenomenal. Raging Fire, we got that reggae desire. Word up to Chris Callahan, who's got him. Dan Alexander, we got Beatrice Beautiful from rapping out in Spain in Spanish. So we got like some worldwide artists up in here. Theo, you're broadcasting from Thailand by way of where you're from in Israel. So yeah, it's really something truly special. I'm so proud and honored in the healthy sense of pride, and honored to be a part of this, let alone help organize it, host it, and whatever. Just do these artist outreaches and interview some of these cats. And like, yeah, Chris Youngblood, Elixir, and the Mixture. What the fuck? With some poetic, scriptures. Fuck yeah. And Dorian Green's on the scene with her dancing schemes, and she's going to be releasing the third part of In Shadow that she presented in the Funnel Conference, Funnel 2, I believe, or Funnel 3. And yeah, meeting up with her and speaking about that with her in person out here in France, because she's from here. Yeah, it's just amazing. It's just like, this is such great company to be in. David Rodriguez, I saw his comedy live with you, Chris, and Leslie. It was fucking amazing, and it was fucking funny as fuck. Like, you even took tried your hand at some comedy too, man. And
Yeah.
Chris, you got some raps too. So folks, we watch out, because we might see this brother, next festival next year. But yeah, Joe Phipps, he's got some
Rocking.
yeah.
Is Joshua's doing a mix or something? I remember Joshua Hale from Autonomy. He's a really cool guy. It sounds like he's
Yeah.
helping out too.
Yeah, he's been partnering with us to develop our marketing strategy. He's been so generous. He, makes conscious EDM music, electronic dance music. And then we also have Tonic for Dogma. They're a rock band. Trying to look at who else we didn't mention.
Soul
Obviously, Theo,
Expression.
Soul Expression. Yep. Derek did a great
Oh,
interview
Mark
with him.
Devlin. Is he?
Mark Devlin is sharing a set. Yep. From the One
Oh.
Great Work Network. Joe Double, who I met at PorkFest. He's an amazing human being, conscious parent, and talented rapper. His wife does the cinematography for all his music videos. They're an amazing family. Elias Clay works constantly with Presence and all kinds of other Truth and Freedom musicians. She's worked with Lady Maverick, who's one of our headliners in person. Cody Joshua has a huge following. He may have the biggest following of all our artists, honestly. He's got a huge following doing just sort of meditation music. And then we also have, obviously, Derek Rose is going to be giving a presentation. So he's using both sides of himself. He's rapping as 33 and presenting as Derek Rose. I interviewed Chris Callahan last night. He's one of our organizers who's helping bring the reggae flavor into this mix. And he's doing a presentation on Peter Tosh as part of his Natural Law Throughout the Ages series that he's doing. And then my partner, St. John, is doing a little bit more of a conspiratorial, if you will, presentation on the sort of origins of music, more esoteric origins as well, looking at, esoteric texts as well as, Laurel Canyon action and the sort of, yeah. And then Matt and Terry Kibbe, I met them through PorkFest, went to a talk that they had on how basically fascism, fascists don't like art. and there's a reason why art has been co-opted in so many ways. And so their presentation really was inspiring. So I was like, let's definitely get you guys on. So it's a really great mix of, presentations and musicians and dance and comedy. And, if I had more time, I would have. And if Jackie Krasna's listening, and if you want to share your music, not, excuse me, your art, the visuals, obviously visuals with the title cards that, Derek's making, and John, the flyers that John and Meg and others have made are visual. They're visually beautiful. But, I think there's just so many, we just couldn't get all we wanted to get done this year. And I feel like we've done a lot already, and we're going to have a really great show. So yeah, and then Monday, I forgot to mention, going back to the question about programming, originally I was thinking, like, how do we inspire people to do their own festivals? But, Derek, you made a good point about let's think about it also from an artistic lens, and check in with the artists as well. And I'm a bit, mission oriented sometimes, and I let's have fun too. So we're going to do that on Monday. But yeah, ultimately it's true. Whether it's running your own festival, making your own music, making a presentation, whatever contribution you as a listener want to make, we're here to inspire you. We're the living examples of what we want to see in the freedom and movement, and we want you to join us.
Something Conrad said to the effect, I like to call it our legacy. The legacy we leave, really indicative of someone who's done this self-work. You come to the realization of who and what you are and why you're here. You start putting that forward, and you step out of what do I want and need in this immediate in front of me. Within all these changes, you start to ask, what can I leave? What can I give for the universe, for the great all, for the next generations? And that's where I like, it tends to bring also the idea of the generative principle of creation. It's one of the core principles of change and aspects of our reality that really points to how fantastically valuable it is in life, like little kittens and the things that make us smile and bring about emotions. Why does all that exist? What are we doing here in this life but changing? So going forward, let's just all say a little bit about something about after this SoundPath to Freedom. What happens next? Where do we go from there?
Funnel 5, baby. Yeah.
Ignite. No, I mean, it's the idea to have continue with, maybe have SoundPath to Freedom 2 and
Definitely.
Yeah, it's gonna be yearly.
Yeah, we're gonna grow. We're already
more watch parties.
We'll probably do once a month watch parties, because I really want to make sure now that once the SoundPath festival ends at the end of the month, giving it that whole year to really battle plan for a bigger and better festival, where we're live streaming on multiple stages, and internationally just live streaming, and flying, having a bigger budget to fly people in, because right now there were artists, I wanted to have Mark Devlin over, but international flights are not cheap, and we want obviously Derek and Theo to be a part of it, but it's just not in the budget right now. And so it's I'm hoping once.
Can people donate and contribute to the?
Yes, please. I originally set the donation goal to 25,000 as a rough estimate of how much this festival would cost. But then I thought, well, what kind of festival are we going to have next year? And we're going to need to secure deposits for that venue, because I talked to Arnold's. I love that venue. It's where the Inquire to Inspire series, run by Jep Heffoff, is. They have a longstanding sort of relationship with Truth and Freedom, events. So it just made sense to do it there, and we have a lot of people in the area there.
So the idea.
So yeah, so I'm hoping, we do this every year and just gets bigger and better. And yeah, we're having tailgate parties outside in the parking lot. We're getting sold out. We're flying talented musicians internationally in. We have a healthy budget to do that and sustain that momentum, and that's sort of what I'm hoping for this festival. And,
Ha!
and pay the artists and the organizers. We're all volunteering. We're giving up our time, our money, our blood, sweat, and tears for this. And it's like it's free, guys. Like, feel free to join, of course, if finances are tight for you. But if you do have resources you want to share, like, share it with the freedom movement today.
That would be lovely. And just $5, $5, whatever, that's nothing. It
Yeah.
will go a long, long way. And we would really appreciate it.
Yeah, so right now the goal is $144,000. Obviously, I picked that for sort of esoteric reasons, but truly, to do the type of festival that we're wanting to have next year, I calculated it, and that's around the price. Seriously, for travel, like
Just to break even.
just to break even,
Hey.
just to pay for international flights for people, just to pay for hotels for people at a discount. Like, all that costs money, guys. So
Yeah, that's really
But
admirable, Jerry. Like, I just gotta say, Chris, because working with you guys, hopping on board with the Freedom Under Natural Law Conference organizer, panel and stuff and everything, and even just as a fan looking on and just like, yeah, like it's more just operating from donations, kind of like we are. We're not. There's no obligatoire obligation to pay money unless you're going to go to the actual concert, which any kind of concert you have to pay money to get in, right? Entrance fees, whatever. But it's funny because Jerry, I mentioned this to you the other day of just, yeah, I thought we are just going to do some online conference like funnel, not a whole lot of money involved or like money invested like you invested, Jerry. Like, this is some serious fucking biz, yo. And we're trying to make it big and respect that, honor it, and just elevate from there and build upon these things, and just the cross pollination to have these artists exposed to whoever might be listening out there and stuff, and like other performers, like their fans might catch some vibes and music from other artists that they never heard of before, and it's like, bam, it's just, yeah, I love it. It's just,
and
yeah. Yeah, go
and
for it.
Chris Youngblood in the chat.
What's up, brother?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love his words, and his words are going to be reflected at this conference. Another big, awesome. I know Chris has been to at least one of the watch parties, if not more than one. And I think what you're saying is we got to elevate, and it takes a certain hubris in a way, a certain people might confuse it like with the negative term of ego, but it takes a certain audacity to say, I'm going to do something that's impossible. And I think in the face of what we're facing with evil in the world, people get so overwhelmed, like that person I was talking to. How could we possibly do it without government? It's like, well, this is how. We have to have the audacity, the bravery, the fearlessness, and the positive ego to say, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can make up a song. I'm an old 50-year-old white guy, but I'm going to make a rap. Might not be the best, but it's going to be rap, and people are going to be able to listen to it. And you guys have inspired me to kind of get back into my music making self. Thank you, Conrad, and all of you, because I put that aside for a long time, and now I've been feeling that fuel inside of me that wants to make beats and songs and stuff too. And that I know that feels for years that helped me deal with my emotions by creating music, creating songs. So it can be very healing. And so let's kind of end with that. Let's go around. You guys all say a little bit about how healing music is, and anything else you want to add before we close up. Theo, why don't you go first?
Yeah, Theo should go
yeah.
first.
Yeah, it's perfect because I had something in mind. Like what you just said, Chris, reminds me of one of the slogans we have on the website: inspiring creativity and care to right action. Which this slogan was inspired by the slogan for Funnel 4, like inspiring care to action, right? So I feel like this is really true for us so far. Like we're really inspiring each other. It's kind of pushing us to, yeah, bring our creative essence forward and not be shy about it. Try our best to, um, you know, push ourselves in that way, and it's really fun because there's a bigger purpose for it now, and there's a bigger chance for exposure and bigger interest for sharing it, and it can make a bigger difference for everyone involved, right? So it's not just a little hobby that maybe for many of us it used to be. Now I have a chance to make a song, and then I know like dozens, if not hundreds, of people will definitely listen to it. So um, I think this is one of the great benefits of this festival. It gives us, natural law-based artists some exposure that we couldn't get before. So yeah, and that's hella inspiring for me as an artist. So definitely, you know, hella grateful for this.
Meg, why don't you go next?
Sure. So music for me, I've had a rough upbringing, just like many people have, and I've always turned to music. It's always helped me decompress or help me, work out my emotions. I'll tell you a little funny thing. Like a way I connect with the universe is through music. So I get channeled stuff all the time. Like the synchronicities are out of this world. And I know it sounds crazy, but people who are around me when we're together listening to music, it's like everything just talks to you simultaneously in the moment. And when I'm feeling like I just need some peace or connectivity and that love, when we're just like, feeling all the pain of the world and the heaviness, it's like that energy just comes in, and I feel everything all the time. And the messages are always so beautiful. So I love that you guys are creating music because you're putting that out into the field, and people like me are receiving it. So you have no idea like how connected we really are, and what it means. So music for me, that's how I heal, is truly through music. It's my go-to.
Conrad?
All right, my turn. So music like has healed me literally like multiple times. I get these memories. So I remember it was June 6, 2012 was a full moon. I was walking around. I was walking to play basketball, and I was listening to a song called Knowledge is Power. I already heard some conscious rappers at this point, right? Knowledge is Power by Kala. And it's just between the sound and what he was saying about actually the origins of hip hop and how it goes deeper than New York and the destroying the cultural institutions and all this. And I'm looking at the full moon as I'm doing this, and something I had like this experience where I realized this thing having to do with knowledge is going to be like that is who I am. I felt like it was a very transcendent experience that I still struggled to explain. There was a time like that. Then there were other times where I was completely lost in life. I was also walking to, all I could do is shoot hoops at like 1 a.m. in the park. But I was like in a really low point. I was listening to Onyx, Better Off Dead. So like very dark time, but still, you may not think of that as being healing. But for me, that sound was it made it real. Like the way that I was feeling, there was something there that I could point to and say, okay, it's not just me being crazy. Right. So that was like a lifeline right there. And then that was my soundtrack to play basketball at 1 a.m. Then recently I did a song called Reflections, and I listened back to the song Reflections, and I think I have to like it more than anyone in the world. Sometimes I listen to it, I'm like, man, I can't believe I did that. Just because it is a similar, it feels just like that feeling of being like, of just being totally open to the world and looking up at that full moon. And I ended up having a similar experience on actually August 30th. And this is why I was like, August 30th. Okay, I'm in. I know this is when I even told Jerry, like, please leave me on Saturday as well, because I'm going to have a set on Saturday too. I got 2 completely different sets. You know, one in person, one's gonna be on Saturday. So, and I'm so lucky to be able to have made a song like that I actually like that it's healing for me and it's my song. Crazy, because I've made over 100 songs and I don't really like them all that much, but that one I like. And if you don't, you know, you could believe me, it's healing and self-healing, which is an amazing thing. So I've had crazy experiences too, Meg. I totally feel you. I know, but this stuff is real and it is magical. So, and that's just the tip of the iceberg with music.
Harmonize, realize. Jerry and Derek, either of you care who goes first and who goes second?
Go for it, Derek.
Yeah, sure. Because I'll riff off of what Conrad was saying. Because yeah, it's like we might not always like. I'm thinking about myself, you know, writing some lyrics and stuff, or you know, recording myself in videos and stuff, and like you feel kind of cringy looking at and listening to that stuff sometimes, whatever. But at the same time, was it not somewhat beneficial or therapeutic? Just the process of just like getting it out there and stuff, and you know, it's like even if it's not 100% refined or whatever, it's just like you're speaking from the heart. And as many musicians have said in the past, like speak from the heart, let the soul be free. Mon ami, may we. What's good in the place to be in France? But sorry, I got that Fringlish going on a little bit sometimes. But but yeah, taking it back, that old boom bap rap and whatever the hell. Not like it's all about hip hop, but that's what I love so much. But yeah, these time capsules. And Chris, you're talking about, you know, like just smelling certain fragrances at a specific time and place, you know, even decades ago, and you get that whiff of something. It's like it just takes you back. Same with music. You hear a melody or something like that, even if it's not the same track, it could be like a remix or something similar. And it's like, oh shit, yeah, I love that. It's so synchronicious sometimes the way music flows and goes and all that shit, right? Gals and bros, but so yeah, over the years, you know, some of these music mixes I've made have been very therapeutic just for myself and just getting it out there and with that desired effect of, hey, if it helps out myself, it could help out other people. And just like some of those lyrics, just, you know, I've wept over more than half of the projects I've made just because I feel into these things so much. And there's so much music out there that is so fucking profound. I get these tears of conviction. Just you just like hear the artists and like the raw, unfiltered lyricism behind it with the melodies combined. It's just like such a beautiful, conscious concoction. You know, you got to listen to it often, right? So, and so this project means a lot to me because yeah, for a lot of reasons. And the fact that there's a lot of hands involved within and around the One Great Work Network, and knowing that over half of the content creators in network, including Mark Passio, Mario West, and Seth Esposa, Chris, Conrad, and so many others that don't necessarily put themselves out there as a musician. They make music, yet they've had to put that on the side because of other priorities, right? Yet this SoundPath to Freedom is kind of just, you know, like take a pause, enjoy some music. This is going to be, yeah, could be therapeutic for some. Could be just, you know, give that little extra umph or, you know, recharge a battery in your pack or whatever and kind of rekindle that essence of, you know, like, yeah, what I wanted to mention, Chris, you know, you and I, you know, hanging out and talking about music and stuff like that. It just, you know, it brings out that childish, you know, youthful curiosity and energetic vibe that just gets you going. You build off that, and it's just so wonderful, especially when you're sharing it with other people. So that's why we try to emphasize those to actually go to the concert on Sunday, August 31st in Pennsylvania. Check out your tri-state area regions and whatever. So, Jerry, I'll let you finish with that, with more details and your
But
spiel and everything.
send people over. People, check out YouTube. Go to the YouTube channel. Type in "Awaken Your Mind." Get your mind blown, like so many of us have. We didn't realize there were so many conscious hip hop artists out there, and Derek brings that to light. This information's been out there for a lot of times in a lot of sneaky, interesting ways, and he weaves that all together and throws in other stuff and cool visuals, and he's quite the artist himself in how he does that. So on your SoundPath, make sure and stop by and check out Awaken Your Mind channel and subscribe. And yes, Jerry, let's hear you. Why don't you close this up here, and then after you're done, I'll play the promo video.
Okay, well, I want to keep giving a shout out to Derek because he's also doing watch parties at like 3 or 4 a.m. his time, and I mean, and he just keeps doing it every week, and so that's after he's already done One Great Warriors and Dissolving the Divide, and making title cards for us, and just constantly grinding, man. So I'm honored to be, and everyone, Theo has not only put out an album, he's helped basically design the website, and just it hasn't been easy on anyone, and we've been through some stressful times, but I feel like as a team we've conquered a lot together, and I'm just so proud to be amongst you all. And going back to your original question, Chris, I'm wondering about the question, is it music that's healing, or is it us with each other that's healing? I was able to convince someone living internationally to fly to the concert without knowing any of the artists, without being familiar with any of their music. I would say that it's not music that's healing, but it's the connections that we bring with each other. And that's what we need as a natural law community, because there can be no community without actual interaction, whether it's online or in person, actual friendships happening, actual collaborations and project, brainstorming, and just shooting the shit and healing each other and being like an anti-state support group with each other, like it's just like stuff like that. And like, music is what is music? What is speech? It's energy being emitted through the air into another person's eardrum, and that's just a frequency connection between two beings. That's what we're really after. That's what's community is what we're after. Voluntary. No masters, no slaves. Simple, peaceful.
Jerry's got bars too. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, we were recording that, so we can make a clip out of that.
Thanks.
And Theo can add a beat to it, and there we go.
It'll be the intro to my next song, probably.
Aw.
Yeah. Right on, guys. Well, I really appreciate having you all here, and I hope we can do maybe a wrap up, maybe 2 or 3 weeks after SoundPath. I think we got a Warriors in there, so I don't want to promise the wrong weekend, but if you guys would like to come back, I'd love to have you, and we could talk about our experience meeting each other and these other amazing people and how it all went after. That would be cool. I would really.
I'm really excited to like hug you and Leslie. That's going to be so awesome. Yeah.
We're pretty fired up. She started jumping around when I was like, "Let's just go," and she's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay, let's do it."
I'm at a point where I'm like, I'm feeling really bad that people are like paying to fly out. I'm like, should I just like tell people to like bring tents and then we can like share the Airbnb with people? I mean, what the fuck, dude?
We'll all work it out. Think about,
Yeah.
we spend money on all kinds of things in life, and in the scheme of life, which things are we going to look back on and be like, I regret spending that few $100? Like, no, I don't think I'm going to regret this one. Whatever.
Aw.
Hey, before we close up off of that point, you know, in-person events are worth a lot. We value those a lot. In my city in Chicago, like 36 hours from now, they're going to do UFC, and they're going to make millions and millions at the gate, you know, for a fight where they do pay-per-views every month. And here, all of this effort is coming in. You know, I know what 25,000 sounds like, what 100,000 sounds like, but if you really think about in-person events, like, that's what we're talking about. That's how valuable this is, what we're doing.
We're offering childcare. So if there's a 5 to 14-year-old who wants to enjoy Arnold's Family Fun Center, go-karts, laser tag, you know, all
Oh, I
the
wanna do that.
bowling. Yeah, they have like amazing stuff there. It's going to be fun for families, red pill families, as they say. So, you know, it's an all ages show. So if your 5-year-old wants to not join Arnold's and join in the music, they can. But, you know, to offer that day or evening camp option costs money. But I knew when we were looking at the sort of marketing avatars or whatever with Joshua Hale that, you know, the marketing avatars that we were reaching out to for SoundPath are the marketing avatars for the natural law freedom movement in general. That is of the red pill parent who's tired of, you know, just wanting to conscious parent. You know, I like to call it conscious parent instead. The AI gave us red pill parent, but the conscious parent who just wants to like meet other conscious families, the shadow researcher that's tired of feeling isolated and, you know, researching all the time and wants to like go out and hug somebody and listen to some metal or whatever. And then the last one is the jaded festival goer. So those were our, you know, 3 avatars, and we try to kind of condense our. Anyway, so long story short, like, I mean, these are the people that we're trying to build community with. Music lovers, you know, maybe someone who's a little bit more new agey, you know, listening to meditation music, and all of a sudden they hear Joe Murray's songs, or they hear Conrad songs, or they hear Theo and Derek's mixes, you know, like Theo's rap and Derek's mixes, like that's going to, you know, awaken people's minds to hear the same. When you have cross genre music with the same message, there people are going to be forced to listen.
Wonderful. And there keeps being one more thing. I wanted to tell people to check out all the awesome interviews Gary's been doing with the various artists, and you can check that out on
Derek
SoundPath.
too.
And
Yes.
Derek has been part of those. You can check that out on soundpath.org and on the YouTube page. And with no more ado, I'm really excited to share this promo video that was created. I think it's pretty awesome. And I'll look forward to seeing you guys at the event.
Much
Thanks,
love, Chris.
Chris.
Thank you so
Looking
much for having
forward
us
to it.
on.
Thank you, Chris, man.
Much
Thank
love
you.
all. And listeners,
Much
show
love.
your support.
Yeah.
Share,
Leslie,
share.
Crip Rick, Young Blood. We see y'all.
All right,
Nathan.
guys. Sweet.
Thanks, guys.
All right, let's play this.
Shout out to St. John who made it.
Thanks, John.
It's time to free the warriors, my friends. We got too many people locked up by the state, and they're counting on us to use our voices. Intention. I'm living in this world and not of it. And how can you set something free if you don't love it?
Establish our identity. We have to understand who we are and where we fit in the natural order of the world.
33.
The people who have created this system and they perpetuate this system, they are out of balance. They have made us out of balance.
I woke up this morning feeling I had something to say. I got doubts on my mind, it's time to let them fly away. It's time to unlearn poison and heal broken hearts. Go back to the end, it's time for a fresh start.
I'm repping this gameplay, cleaning my future like in a chess game. Bitches better make way, snitches make no mistakes. The slip of the tongue will make me accidentally slip a switchblade. Don't take my kindness for frivolous, take my time away from me. I'ma make you see what the fuck I call ghetto discipline, or you better grab a water bar.
So what we have here is a multinational
irrational, multi-generational, parasitic ruling class, raping the earth of its resources and driving humanity deeper into bondage. And emerging from the shadows comes a light warrior determined, resisting the system of violence and coercion. Learn how to spot the workings of the men behind the curtain.
Labor Day weekend, SoundPath To Freedom. We're going to show them what a soundtrack is like for this movement. It's grassroots and speak the truth. Come and be part of it. Once in a lifetime, never forgotten.
I heard that one man's voice ain't nothing, that ain't gonna do nothing. Do what thou wilt, I'm scientific with it. Gunners my tongue, never caught me with it. Telling the truth, they said I'm doing terrific. Dope boy music for real, can't be no dope boy until you flip it. Honor the spirit, switch it. If you're a real man, free your mind, don't be half walk, half walk.